There shouldn't be any interferences, but I'm warning you, there might be, and this could have a lot of, well, pauses to it. Hopefully you can't hear it, but you might hear a faint baby, child, whatever voices in the background, and that's because there are toddlers here. So, yeah, my voice is kind of shit today. I only have my juice right there. I could go fix me a cup of water, but I don't feel like it. Actually, low key, I might as well just go get me some water. So yeah. Um this part is very planned out, like very meticulously. Well, not like meticulously. More so I was just walking back and forth in my room, pacing, making sure that I had a storyline for this part so that it would not be fucking stupid. So yeah, hopefully you guys will enjoy this part. And once it's typed out, I hope it comes out just as incredibly as I have pictured it in my head. So yeah. Let's get into it. Now, actually, I'm about to go fix that water first before I even get into it. 1 second. My bad, y'all. Originally I went to just get some water, but I remembered I had sandwiches and I decided to warm them up. Now, to y'all, the break wasn't that long because for y'all it's just a jump cut because I paused it. For me, on the other hand, this was quite a long period of time. I did not eat the other one, so I might pause randomly to go eat the other one. But for right now, I'm good. Got my water and shit, so I'm ready to continue. Now, we left off this series with Sasuke leaving the village, and on his way to leave the village, he ran into one of the one of his teammates. Yeah, I was gonna say something else, but yeah, one of his teammates. This being Haku, as when she and Sasuke met each other, she instantly knew that Sasuke wanted to leave. She tried to stop him, but was put in a genjutsu and immediately lost their fight. The fight, my fault. The fight was over as fast as it began, as before either of them could throw a punch, she was already unconscious because of the genjutsu. Now, the two gate guards were also knocked unconscious, and Kakashi, who showed up after, saw Sasuke leaving, but he didn't do anything. He let him go. It's not because he didn't want to take Sasuke, but he knew that this could help his teammates, his students grow. He knew that if anything went down poorly, he could just call Naruto. Naruto can stop Sasuke. Well, that was until he was informed that Naruto is on a solo mission. Because when Haku woke up and went to inform the Hokage that Sasuke had left, she instructed, my bad, she instructed Haku to go get some teammates, go get a group of kids that she believes and trusts will be enough to bring back Sasuke. And her first pick was obviously, hey, bro, stop staring at my sandwich like that. You're not eating it. My bad, my cat just staring. Anyways, like I was saying, Sasuke, Uncle, what the fuck, bro? I'm trying to force it off. Haku would be told to go get people to help her on this recovery mission. Yeah. And she went and got the first person she could think of, this being Shikamaru. And then Shikamaru went and got Choji, Kiba, Neji, and Rock Lee, who in this one was healed faster because, Tsunade was already in the village. So, even though he is not in his top shape, he is still healed. Well, to a certain degree. He's better than he was when he originally went to fight. So, hold on 1 second. All right, I'm back. So, all of the fights would be, how should I put it? So every fight that would happen does happen. And Naruto, I said Naruto. Haku would be pitted up against Kimimaru. It'd be her and Rock Lee. As she was about to keep going, someone would pass through there. As this would be a third person to come to help them. This would be Gara. And she would go after Sasuke. Yeah, that's how it, that's how it's gonna go. Now, I don't really have to go. I didn't want to go into how these fights went because they went a lot. Well, I won't say a lot smoother, but they definitely were. They definitely helped everyone's growth. This boys to men mission was hard. I can't tell. I don't want to go into detail about it because you should go watch it. But yeah, everything went. It played out the same. It definitely plays out the same way. Besides Neji's fight, I mean, he still ended up, getting injured, but it was to a less severe degree than what he was in canon. Because of his fight with Naruto, he started to work around his weakness to try and use it against his opponents, you know? So yeah, he isn't perfect at it. That's how he still got, hurt. But yeah. Now, the fights I'm going to be focusing on is I was finna say Sakura. My fault. Sasuke and Haku and Naruto's mission. So let's go ahead and get into Naruto's mission before we even get into the Sasuke versus Haku fight, which happens before Naruto. Well, after Naruto is on his way back from his mission. Now, my bad. This video may seem, well, not video, but this first, like this beginning part is gonna seem rushed as hell, and that's because it kinda is. I'm feeling like some like family is coming. I they might be. So I'm trying to hurry up this first little bit so I can know that I already have it recorded, so that then later on tonight or whenever I decide to record, I could just finish it off, knowing that this part is already done. Now we continue this on to when continue. One second. So during Naruto's mission, he would be fighting against some bandits that were planning to attack a small part of the village, not attack the full village in and of itself. But they wanted to attack a part of the village to try and take it over, hold that part of the village captive, and then get a huge payout for it, and then hurry up and leave the area. Naruto, who was informed of this, was sent on this S rank mission to take down these bandits. And while fighting them, he only needed Super Saiyan until it came down to their boss, where he used his Ascended Super Saiyan, aka the red eyed version. Now, while fighting this boss, he realized that this guy is really strong. And as he continued to fight this guy, he would start to realize that this guy is like very strong. Like he's at least Jonin level. I mean, not at least. He's at least high ranked Jonin level. He doesn't know his true extent of this guy's strength, but he's not going to lose to someone who can barely throw a punch. But this guy is way too tanky. He doesn't know that, like, what is this guy made of? Every punch he throws at him, it's like this guy tanks it and gets stronger. He keeps trying swing after swing after swing. None of his attacks were doing damage to this guy. And this guy was just throwing back haymakers that were harder than the punches he threw the first time. So Naruto would go to block one of these punches, but would immediately feel danger as he jumped, spinning, dodging the attack, and would kick the back of the guy's head, sending him flying. But he would just get up as if nothing is hurting him. He would even start laughing, calling Naruto a weakling. Naruto would charge up one of his greatest attacks, this being his Kamehameha. And once he yelled those words, he'd shoot out a giant beam, but it would be more concentrated. It wouldn't be the huge beam that he used in the tuning exams against Orochimaru. Hold on, my voice is sounding layered right now. What the fuck? All right, I think I sound better. Ew. Why? All right, like I was saying, it isn't the key blast beam that he still hasn't named, which is the giant attack he used against Orochimaru that decimated most of the forest. It isn't the Kamehameha. It's just a beam move that he has yet to name. He was thinking about calling it something like atomic blast or something like that, but he doesn't know yet. But the Kamehameha is a more skillful move as he can bend it and move it around to his will. It isn't just a pure chakra related beam blast that has like it's just he has control over this beam. And so he trusts it the most. This is his strongest and greatest attack so far, and even though the other one has a larger range, this one is definitely his favorite. And once he'd shoot this beam at the guy, he would expect him to be destroyed. But this guy was just standing there as if none of this is hurting him, his laughter still echoing throughout the beam. As Naruto would just say, fuck it. And he would bend the beam back and send it at himself. He was planning on pulling off a risky move. He was going to take all of the energy from it and then try and use it to force an awakening so he can hit this guy with an attack that could be just as strong as however tanky this guy is and just pop him like a balloon. That was his plan. And it worked. He bent the beam backwards, confusing the guy as the beam flew back at Naruto. The guy started laughing, believing that he hit Naruto, as Naruto was just standing there, absorbing all of this energy that is flying into him. The beam would eventually end, and Naruto would just be in this smoke screen. And then it would happen. His aura would spike, and it would get sharper. Electricity would start crackling around his body, and he would come out of the smoke in Super Saiyan 2, but it's not perfected. It's just he's using it, and that's it. Once he'd get the hang of transforming into this form, he'd believe that he could be stronger than anyone. This now 40 times multiplier is definitely way stronger than his past 35. And even if it's just a 5% difference, he can tell that it's still more like it's definitely there. And so he'd charge all of this new power into just his fist as he'd fall out of Super Saiyan 2. But after feeling it and memorizing the feeling of it, it was enough. The electricity would just be covering his fist as he would now be back in his Super Saiyan, ascended Super Saiyan form. Let's put it that way. And he'd fly down at the guy. Yes, fly, because he has been learning how to. You see, Naruto has been trying different things with his chakra, and he had to realize that he can fly. He didn't know how long he could fly, but he can fly. He's been training and has figured it out. So, yes. By the way, this is again still a day after so after the whole stab incident with Sasuke. So, yeah, that happened. So yeah, he can fly. I mean, he was training on it with Jiraiya. That's how he figured it out that he could fly. Jiraiya would say that Naruto is one of not the only person who can fly, but one of the only people in their whole world. Hold. Okay. Naruto is one of the only people in their world who can fly in this whole world. Naruto would be excited about this and has been perfecting it ever since. So Naruto can fly. This is a known fact, and well, not a known fact to everyone, but to Jiraiya, Tsunade, well, Hiruzen, but he's kind of dead. And well, yeah, Kakashi also knows. Sasuke doesn't, Haku doesn't, but those three do. Yeah, yeah. Anyways, so Naruto would fly in at the guy from the air. All of the energy he had just absorbed going into his fist. He would even fall out of Super Saiyan, going back to his base form, putting every ounce of power into this blow. And he would start to feel different. This power had weight behind it. But since he didn't have a form that could handle this power yet, it was just frustrating. But he definitely knew what he wanted to call this attack. It's imperfect at the moment, but Dragon Fist. As he would punch the guy squarely in the chest, and he would fly through this man's body as this huge like dragon would be behind him as he flew through this man. The man would fall over dead, and Naruto would look at his fist that was now smoking and his hand trembling, not from the feeling of killing a man, not even from flying through a man, but from the excess power. His right hand felt destroyed. It was too much power to handle, and he just shot this ki blast into the air as this huge ki blast exploded, as it formed a dragon in the sky. It wasn't perfected, so it was wild. It was uncontrolled. And because he wasn't able to control all of this power, which Super Saiyan 1 could not handle, he doesn't even believe Super Saiyan 2 can handle the output of that force. So he just has to search for the next level. That that is what he would think. So Naruto would start flying back to the village. He would return with the bodies, and he would see everyone standing there with grim looks. They didn't know how to tell Naruto. Sit down, kid. Why? I just finished the mission. I'm not tired, though, but why do y'all look so serious? Naruto, you might want to sit down for this. Kakashi sensei? Grandma Tsunade, what's going on? Sasuke Uchiha has ran away from the village, and we have already sent out a search force. By the way, I know Kakashi was likely not in the village. Well, I'm pretty sure. Whatever. We're just gonna say he wasn't, but he came back to the village around the same time Naruto did, but just a bit before. But yeah, Tsunade would say that Sasuke Uchiha. Yeah, she would say Sasuke Uchiha has ran away from the village, and they had already sent out a search party to go get him, but they have not returned yet, and they're fearing the worst. Naruto would look at them as he'd say, "What?" His eyes would instantly turn red as he'd squeeze his fist and start, like his energy would start vibrating the whole building. He would squeeze his fist so hard that his hands would start bleeding. What the fuck are you talking about? His hair would spike up as he'd go into Super Saiyan, but not just Super Saiyan, as his eyes would revert from their red, as immediately they would revert back to his, this normal teal color. I could keep his, I don't want his eyes to stay red because, that's the Karama amp of his biological, Anyways, why did it sound like I say it? You know what I'm saying. My fault. Ew, that corny ass laugh. Anyways, I just unplugged my 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Now, like I was saying. Oh right. So he'd be in Super Saiyan 2 as this electricity was pulsing off of him. What the fuck did you just say? His tone was no longer the normal calm, angry that Naruto usually is. You see, whenever he gets mad, he's mad, but he's calm. He's calm. except for the Orochimaru thing. He was pissed off, but now his anger, it seemed like visible. Like you could just grab it and like start ripping it to shreds. Like it felt so different that they could barely tell this was Naruto. Well, obviously, besides the fact that he's the only person who could, transform. But yeah, he would ask, "Where is he?" And they would say they sent Haku, and they sent Haku, Shikamaru, Choji, Kiba, Rock Lee, and Neji to go get him. And Naruto would say which direction did they leave in. They would give him a map, as Haku had a tracker on her, and Naruto flew out the window with Kakashi rushing after him and Jiraiya as well, because they know that Naruto's current state could be very dangerous to anyone he bumps into, and this could be bad. So Naruto would be flying through the forest, and the two of them are barely able to keep up with Naruto, as Kakashi would even be amping his body. My bad. Kakashi would be amping his body with his electricity, and Jiraiya would be in toad. That's a toad in sage mode. That is the only way they're able to keep up with this amped Naruto, who is now in Super Saiyan 2. He is flying through the forest at breakneck speeds. He would see Neji and the others falling as he'd make clones. The clones would stop and grab his injured friends, and they would fly them back to the village. He would keep going as he'd see Lee and, well, Gara fighting against Kimimaru. And I know originally they didn't need help because, he was sick and is dying. And, yeah. But Naruto would fly through. And as Jiraiya and Kakashi was passing, Kimimaru and the other two, Kimimaru obviously was ready to fight them until he looked down and saw a blue energy ball at his chest as it exploded and sent him flying as Naruto kept going. He was flying so fast that, well, he lost the other two. And the only thing that they had left were the maps to find him. But first, they had to check on Lee and Gara and, well, the potential guy that Naruto just killed. But he wasn't dead, luckily, as he had enough time to use his rib cage to block most of the damage. Although he was still sick and is currently dying. So Naruto, Kakashi and Jiraiya stuck around, saying that they shouldn't intervene as this fight is Naruto's and, well, Sasuke's. Naruto would land as he'd see Haku laying unconscious on the floor. She would be on the lake floating unconscious, and he'd see Sasuke just standing there, his eyes shining with a new Tomoe. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Now, Sasuke's eyes now have four Tomoe to them. Yes, I said four Tomoe, not the Mangekyo, not the Eternal, four, like on screen four. Now I'm gonna get into it, but first I'm gonna go over their fight. Sorry about that. I was starting to lose my voice. Anyways, or I don't know what the fuck that was. Anyways, Sasuke and Haku's fight went down just like this. As soon as sip of water. 1 second. Okay. What the fuck? I forgot about the microphone completely until I saw the piece sticking out of my device, and I was like, "Oh shit, where is?" Anyways, back to the fight. Sasuke's eyes would be flaring, now in his three Tomoe state. He would be staring down at Haku, as Haku would be staring down at him. The two of them would have this fierce stare down, as Haku would ask Sasuke, why is he doing this? They are teammates, and he does not need to go down this path to get stronger, as he's always gotten stronger alongside Naruto. They have no beef besides his own anger that's there for no reason. But Sasuke would say that his anger has its own nigga. Hold on? My stomach just started fucking growling. Like I ain't just eat two big ass sandwiches. I digress. Like I was saying, Sasuke would say that Haku does not understand his craving for power, and it's not from a selfish standpoint, and it's not even because Naruto is stronger than him. No, he knows Naruto will be stronger than him. It's the fear of being weaker than him, and that is something he cannot allow. Haku would say that everyone is going to end up weaker than Naruto at the rate he keeps growing. Soon, nobody will be able to contend with him. And Sasuke would say, and that doesn't scare you? What if Naruto decides to go rogue? What if he decides to go on a killing spree, killing everyone? Nobody can stop him if he becomes that powerful, right? So why are you so calm about letting that thing run around? And Haku would get serious. She would summon a sword on her back. This would be a katana made from Zabuza's blade. Why? Because she started learning swordsmanship under Naruto's recommendation. Because he assumed that since she's been under Zabuza for so long, he obviously had to teach her some type of moves or some type of sword skills, just in case. And she was the closest to Zabuza. And him leaving her sword, like his jutsu book, I'm gonna say he just left her one. It made it easier for her to learn because most of the skills up in his jutsu book were for his sword or were for swordsmanship. So it worked out. And so Sasuke seeing Haku summon, her sword, he'd say that Haku must have a death wish for trying to fight him. And Sasuke would just he'd summon the katana he got from Naruto, which Naruto took from, Orochimaru. But yeah, he'd be holding this blade and he'd look at my mouth is real watery for some reason. So, yeah, sorry. Anyways, Sasuke would stare down Haku as the two of them would be. Nigga, did I just say he stared down Haku as the two of them stared down each other? Okay. The two of them would have a standoff as they'd both be barking arguments and retorts and just going back and forth until Sasuke would jump down and so would Haku. The two of them would rush at each other as Sasuke's blade would be covered by flames and Haku's blade would be covered by mist. The two of them would clash in the center of the arena and, well, not the arena, but on the water's surface, and they'd both yell at each other as Sasuke would say that she knows nothing about how. I was finna say something else, but you know what? I have a better way of putting it. Sasuke and her would clash uh, as Sasuke would say the only reason she isn't afraid of Naruto is because she loves him, and that's all there is to it. There is nothing she can do against Naruto if he decides to go against everyone, and she wouldn't care because she loves him. She'd probably join him, so he might as well kill her right here. And damn, she is loud. Jesus, my fault. That's just my auntie in the back. Don't worry about it. Anyways, like I was saying, so fuck, what? Where was? Oh, right. And Haku would yell back at Sasuke that he knows nothing of what their bond is like because he's ready to throw away a bond he's been nourishing for so long while she's trying to grow into a better person. So her love for Naruto, it might be romantic, but you want to know something? I am way better than you. at being a friend than you'll ever be. And I don't know much about friendship. The two of them would yell until they'd push each other off and would get into a swordsmanship battle. They would be locked in a bunch of blocks and slashes, and it would be a beautiful massacre of blood. It all right. Let me rephrase that because that kind of sounded one sided. It would be a beautiful flash of blocks, slashes, blood, and more. But neither of them got deep cuts on them. Sasuke was able to read most of Haku's moves, and since Sasuke isn't a blade master, Haku being better at swordsmanship than him, it was pretty easy to read his blade. Even if he got a few hits off of her because he's faster than her, she is able to read him very easily. The two of them would continue their fight until both their blades would be thrown aside. As Sasuke would use his chakra, would use his ninja wire to grab his blade and snatch it to him. And Haku, on the other hand, she rushed for her blade, only to see it broken. As Sasuke would be behind her, about to slash her down until she just dissipate into the water. As mist would be in her stead, as she would appear with a new blade, as that was a clone with a clone blade. As she would come from behind him, jumping off of the wall and swinging at him with mist. And Sasuke would only be able to counter by swinging flames, and it would make this makeshift shield. It would block most of the mist, but it would still sort of start to surround him. As Haku would be moving through the mist, Sasuke would be trying to track her with obviously his Sharingan, but would be failing pretty badly. 1 second. I had to take a sip of my juice, then my water. You know, kind of wanted to, yeah. Anyways, what was, oh, right. So, as, damn, that was a hard ass breath outwards. What the fuck was I trying to say? My fault. Y'all just heard all that for no reason. Like I was trying to say. As Sasuke and Haku both clashed, the two of them would cause this. You okay up there? Okay. Anyways, like I was saying, like I said, I get distracted fairly easily. Anyways, as Sasuke and Haku clashed, this caused a combustion of both flames and mist to go everywhere. But through the mist, Haku would be running around, and because Sasuke's Sharingan could not keep up with her movements, he would get cut all over. He would yell that Haku isn't able to beat him, and he would start trying to predict her moves. And every once in a while, he would, but it wouldn't be perfect. 1 second. All right, I'm back. I'm just standing in place now, but never mind. 1 second. All right, I'm back. Now, like I was saying, Sasuke would yell that Haku is only making him stronger by doing this. And when the smoke would fade as he would shoot a fireball into the air and then cause it to explode by throwing a kunai into it to push, like, to cause like this vacuum effect to pull the smoke. Anyways, when he'd do so, he'd see the ice crystal mirrors have already surrounded him, and Haku was in said mirrors. It isn't about making you stronger. It's about taking you back to the village. I won't let you leave. Sasuke would smirk, saying that she should have just stayed home, and went crying to Naruto, as she can't stop him. Haku, a bit irritated that, at the way he phrased that, rushed at him, throwing throwing Senbon at him from all angles. And now with his vision not obscured, he would be able to see and parry most of them. But he would get a slash across his hip as Haku, the real Haku, came out with a katana and slashed him on the side. He went to stab at her, but she, being fast, would immediately go back into the mirrors and would keep bouncing from mirror to mirror, cutting him all over. Now, because of this, Sasuke would shoot a fireball down into the water and would sink under it to try and go under her, only for a mirror to be there, and it would come up as a slash would go clean up his body, sending him back up from, out of the water, back up. And Sasuke would be floating on his back in the water. Haku would come out of the mirrors and would stand over him, telling him that he should just end this. This isn't a fight he can win, and no matter how hard he tries, he cannot beat her, especially not with so much water around. I don't know why my voice did that while I was trying to say around, but it happened. Especially not with so much water around. So, Sasuke would say, "You got too close," as his hand would spark with electricity, and Haku would be electrocuted for being on the water and would fall under it, only for the electrocution to get worse as Sasuke would grab her while she's under the water. He would only let her go when she'd stop moving. No air bubbles coming out of her mouth. Her eyes had rolled back and she was just still twitching. He let her go as she floated on the water, seemingly dead, but he didn't really care. His eyes had evolved, and it was all thanks to her. Then he'd feel a familiar presence as he'd look up to see Naruto, who is now floating over both of them with this intense glare of pure rage and hatred. "What the hell did you just do?" What was that? What was that? I couldn't hear you from up there. Come down. Naruto would see Sasuke smirking, see Haku twitching, and see sparks off of the water. "You took it too far." Too far? She tried to kill me. Look, I have a scar to prove it. Have a cut clean across my body. Yet you're not scolding her. What? Is it because you love her? Love makes you weaker, Naruto. It really does. Sasuke, we're going back to the village. Stop this. Or what? You gonna stop me? I didn't even have to try against her. My eyes, sure, they evolved. Thank you. I'll give her that. But I haven't even used my curse mark yet. Sasuke would start to activate his curse mark, knowing that. One sec. Alright, I'm back. Now, like I was saying, Sasuke's curse mark would start to cover his body, as this dark purple energy would start to flare off of him. The same way it did in the Chunin exams originally, but it's only doing that now. He isn't losing control as he had already taken, the stuff that the Sound 4 had given him, and obviously, yeah. So basically, Sasuke is amping his power to try and match Naruto, and it seems to be working as Sasuke feels confident. What's wrong? Oh, this? Oh, well, my power is about 40 times stronger now. What about you there? That's a new form, right? The spiky hair, the sparks flying off you. What, that's two? Or is that Ascended Super Saiyan Ascended or some shit like that? God, you're confusing. What's the amp on that one? Like 50? 40? It's 40, right? Cool, we're even. Sasuke would jump into the air as he throw a punch at Naruto. As Naruto would just casually catch his hand, and when Sasuke went to slash Naruto, Naruto would punch his hand as the blade would go flying. It would stab into the Hashirama. I stuttered. Well, not stutter, but like the words wouldn't come off my tongue. Anyways, as Naruto punched the blade away, it stabbed into the face of the Hashirama almost said Senju statue. As Naruto just threw Sasuke back down to the water, he would land next to Haku and he would pick her up. As he would start flowing his healing energy through her, as he'd apologize for getting there late. He would lay her against the rocks as he'd say, I'm gonna finish this quickly. We can go home after this. I'm sorry. He would then turn to Sasuke. You took this shit way too far. There is no forgiving this. No more jokes. No more games. We're ending this. Sasuke would smirk as he'd say, fucking finally. I've been waiting to put you down for a while, you know. you you just don't understand how much I want to fucking kill you. Naruto and Sasuke both would rush at each other. As Sasuke would throw a kick and Naruto would throw a kick to clash with his. This kick combo would cause a huge amount of wind pressure to push off the both of them. This would send water and wind flying outwards as the constant force of both of them pushing against each other is making ripples in the water. They would push off of each other and then rush back in, as Naruto would immediately have the upper hand in hand-to-hand combat. But because of Sasuke's Sharingan evolving, it is getting more so even. All right, like I was saying. So, as the two of them kept fighting, Sasuke was obviously getting better. You see, because of the curse mark, his Sharingan seems to be awakening faster. And this to him is perfect. Naruto doesn't realize, but as long as they keep fighting, he'll just keep getting stronger. And eventually he'll surpass him, and then he'll kill him. Sasuke would throw a kick to which Naruto would block as if it were nothing. He'd push Sasuke off and would turn to him. Is that all you have? After all of that talk, this is all you have? That's so fucking pathetic. Why are you doing this? You obviously don't hate me. There is no murderous intent behind your attacks. You claim you're gonna kill me, but I don't feel it. What are you doing? What is this? Sasuke would just smirk. How do you know what I'm planning to do? How can you tell if it's murderous or not? What makes you an expert in killing intent? I could just be calm and want to kill you just because. I don't have to have a reason. I don't have to be bloodlusted. I just want to kill you. Okay, well, come do it. Naruto would get into his stance, as Sasuke would as well. The two of them would step forward until they got close enough to where their hands were meeting in the center. And then Sasuke would be the first one to attack. He would go to grab Naruto's arm, but Naruto would push it off and would elbow him in the face. I almost choked on air there. Sorry. Like I was saying, Naruto would elbow Sasuke in the face and then would come down with a punch to the side of his head. Sasuke would spin this off as he'd send a heel kick to Sasuke's head, to Naruto's head, but Naruto would duck under it and would gut shot Sasuke with one of those classic DBZ gut shots. As Sasuke would hit the floor coughing out blood. How is he predicting me? What's going on? We were about even a second ago. Don't tell me he's still getting stronger. What's wrong, Sasuke? Get up. Naruto would kick Sasuke as he'd go flying. He'd crater into the rocks. And Naruto would rush at the rocks only to hear electricity flying off of that area. Sasuke would swing his hand at Naruto, and Naruto would spin around his arm, dodging it as he'd knee him in the face, sending him deeper into the rocks. He would then grab Sasuke out and would throw him back into the water. Haku would wake up and she'd see Naruto and Sasuke fighting, and she's just in awe at how powerful Naruto is. Sasuke's words would hit her head. What if Naruto turns evil? But this time it wasn't out of insecurity like it was with Hazabu's, where she was contemplating whether whether or not to continue to father what the fuck follow Zabuza. No, it was whether or not she should truly trust Naruto, but immediately she'd shut that shit down. Sasuke is crazy. Naruto could never go dangerous. He could never go evil. And fighting you here is proof of that. He's not even trying to kill you yet. Wait, so what the hell is going on? She'd say this as Naruto would be sent flying, and so would Sasuke. And this is because Sasuke started copying Naruto's style of fighting. It wasn't too useful since he couldn't copy his strength. Sure, they're on the same level power wise, but he can't copy Naruto's physical strength. So he had to copy other things. He added flames to his fist using his father's technique, and he added a lot of chakra, all the chakra he could muster behind it, and copied Naruto's attack. So as Naruto hit him, he sent Naruto flying as well. And Naruto would be cratered in the wall, as well as Sasuke, who was also cratered in the wall. As the smoke dissipated, Sasuke would now be in the curse mark stage 2, with the wing, the hand wing things on his back and everything. His hair longer. If you know what it is, just go search it up. I don't feel like pulling up a picture. And Naruto would still be in Super Saiyan 2. He was kind of in shock that Sasuke is growing at this rate. And then he'd see his four Tomoe had also evolved. It was no longer the incomplete version. He had completed it. And it looked damn cool. But he can only seem to use it while in this state, as it only has again, he only perfected it because he's in grade 2 of the curse mark. Eventually he'll perfect it, but it'll no longer be useful. Whatever. Anyways, Sasuke would be staring at Naruto, and then he'd look at himself in the reflection of a kunai. Ah, that's why he seems so much weaker. Not only this form, but this hand from my eyes. I'd say I'm about 50 times stronger than I normally am at my base form, so his 40 is nothing. Sasuke would start laughing. It seems I was wrong. I don't even have to kill you anymore. I'm already stronger than you. You're no threat to me. You're no threat to the world. I thought you'd just keep growing, keep getting stronger, but this is pathetic, Naruto. Come on, get stronger already. Charge up. Scream your lungs out. Let me hear it. Come fight me. Naruto would just be standing there. He had lost his best friend. Those words don't sound anything like what Sasuke would normally say. It has to be Orochimaru. I'll kill him. I'll kill him. He did this to Sasuke, and I'll kill him. 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 Naruto would snap. His eyes would start to fade out as all the energy in the air would start to concentrate on Naruto. And Naruto would let out a loud ass yell saying, I'll kill you. As Haku thought like Naruto was talking about Sasuke. He wasn't. He meant Orochimaru. But yeah. Sasuke would also think that Naruto's talking about him, and he'd realize that he has to stop Naruto because if he snapped, he might have unlocked a new form. And if they're even again, well, then Naruto is going to be winning because he's the better fighter of the two. He would charge up a Chidori and rush at Naruto, as he'd start flying at Naruto with his new wings. He would yell at Naruto to die, as the energy around Naruto would spike once more. The earth surrounding him would start to crack from the output of the force, and Sasuke would be pushed away by just the pure strength of Naruto's anger. What the hell is this? I can't get close. The wind pressure. He would start making hand signs, and he would send a fireball at Naruto. Not like the fireball jutsu, but like a ball of fire he made in his hand. He would send it at Naruto, as it would completely be exhausted, and then the energy from it would be absorbed. As Sasuke would realize, Naruto is taking the energy from everything around them and turning it into his own to get stronger. And so he would use the Chidori once more. 1 second. All right, I'm back. Now, like I was saying, so Sasuke would use the Chidori, but instead of using it to try and like pierce Naruto, he would try and pierce the energy. He would be swinging his hand as he gets closer and closer. And once he'd finally reach Naruto, Naruto would let out a final yell. I'll fucking kill you! Like just a loud ass, I'll fucking kill you. And this golden light would shoot off of Naruto, as Sasuke's Chidori would fade, as Sasuke would be blown away. He'd be floating in the air, as Naruto would now be in Super Saiyan 3, as his aura was huge. This electricity crackling from him, deadly. And Sasuke was no longer a match for him. Sure, they're both at times 50, like the 50 times multiplier. Super Saiyan was 20, Super Saiyan 2 was 30. No, Super Saiyan. Yeah, and Super Saiyan went from, yeah, it was the grades, so it was at 25, 20, yeah, 25 for Super Saiyan 1, 30 to 35 for Super Saiyan 2. No, what the fuck? I completely skipped Fall Super Saiyan. I'm like, what the fuck? Something not making sense here. Hold on. Okay, I was right. Super Saiyan 1 was originally 20, then it went up to 20, up to 30 and 35. Ascended Super Saiyan, aka the Red Eye mode. Then Super Saiyan 2 was 40. And now Super Saiyan 3 is a 50 times multiplier. So yeah. Now, because this power is so dangerous and heavy, Naruto would start to feel the stress on his body immediately. I have to end this fight quickly, or else I won't be able to win. He wouldn't say this out loud, so not anybody but him knew of the strain this form was putting on his body. He would rush at Sasuke, who was still in the air, and Sasuke barely had time to almost said something different than what my brain thought. Sorry about that. Like I was trying to say, Naruto would flash at Sasuke faster than he could recognize, and before Sasuke could even, well, do anything, Naruto would slam a gut shot into his stomach. Sasuke would hold his stomach, coughing out blood as he would land on the floor, well, on the water, and would be coughing blood into the water. What the hell is that strength? He said it's a 50 times multiplier, meaning we're on the same level. What the hell was that? As Naruto would look at his hand, I can't hold back anymore. He would fly at Sasuke from the air and he would charge up his fist. I'll use it. Again, he has not mastered well, obviously Goku didn't master Super Saiyan 3 either, but Naruto's time is shorter in Super Saiyan 3, but because this is his first time, and also because he's not using his energy to transform. He used the energy around him, which he has not ever used. Like, this is his first time using this technique that he learned from Jiraiya, which is pulling natural energy out of the world and using it on himself. So yeah, basically, he's using energy that's not his, and so he has a limited supply of it. So he has to make up for it by ending this fight quickly, like a minute quick, or he's gonna be unconscious, and well, Sasuke can really just kill him. And so Naruto, while flying down, would start charging up a dragon fist. He would put chakra in his hand, and this time it did not cause him to drop out of Super Saiyan 3. I mean, it caused him to drop out of Super Saiyan 2 before, but that's because at first he didn't have enough energy to pull it off. Damn, they're loud. Anyways, he would start to charge up this power as Sasuke and Haku would see this dragon flying behind Naruto as he cocked his fist back to swing. And Sasuke would look up as he would start charging up a Chidori. He knows it will not be strong enough to block the full force of it. So he would cover his body with those wings. And as Naruto's fist went through it, obviously, like like how Naruto did, it would start to poison him. And this would consume a lot of his, well, not a lot of his chakra, but this would cause him to start to drop out of, Super Saiyan 3 quicker. His hair is already shrinking. He can feel it. And this dragon fist is becoming unstable. As he pierced through it, he swung his fist down at Sasuke. As Sasuke swung a Chidori at Naruto's face. But Naruto caught his hand and Sasuke went to catch Naruto's. As before he could even do so, Naruto's fist would just miss as he'd fall out of Super Saiyan 3 and dive straight into the water. The dragon would still slam into Sasuke though. Naruto did not have the guts to kill Sasuke. That wasn't his job. It was just to bring him back. He knew the dragon should have enough energy. Well, he thought the dragon should have enough energy to knock out Sasuke. But Sasuke just used his other wing to block most of the damage of the dragon. And it just knocked him out of his grade 2 form of his, well, curse mark form, whatever the fuck that shit called. I honestly don't remember. But yeah, he'd stand over Naruto, who's panting hard. He's now back in his base form, no longer in Super Saiyan, false Super Saiyan, no, none of that. He was just in his base form. He would look up at Sasuke, who would just smirk at him. I'd win. I beat you. Finally. Sasuke would start leaving. As Jiraiya and Kakashi would see Sasuke walking into the forest, Kakashi would tell Jiraiya that they should go after him, but Jiraiya would just say that it's over. He's no longer on Leaf territory. If we went after him and someone attacked us and we killed them, whoever's in that territory that they have as backup could surround us. Could be way too many people. And plus, they're Orochimaru's people. He definitely has at least a lot, like 100 or so, 100 or so ninja waiting in that forest. As soon as we enter, we'd be overrun. And plus, with Naruto down because of energy loss, we can't contest. This is the Leafs' loss. This is when Itachi and Shisui would show up. The Uchiha clan had been notified of the situation, and Fugaku, he kinda wanted Sasuke to go. Why? Because he knows Orochimaru can make Sasuke stronger faster than Kakashi would. But he also kinda didn't. And so he sent Itachi and Shisui to watch after Sasuke. But again, The hundred or so ninja in that forest prohibited anyone from following Sasuke. And they just take Sasuke. They just take Naruto and Haku back to the village. Naruto would officially apologize to, well, Tsunade that he was not strong enough to take Sasuke home. And he then go apologize to Sasuke's mother and father, saying that if he only had a bit more energy and a bit more time in that form, he could have taken down Sasuke, but he wasn't strong enough. It was his fault Sasuke left. And it's his fault he couldn't bring Sasuke back. He's sorry. The two of them would tell Naruto that it's fine, and Mikoto, yeah, I was gonna call her Mikoto. Bro, it just sounds weird to me either way. No offense, her name is, still Sasuke's mom. So yeah. Mikoto would tell Naruto that it was not his fault. But Naruto would say it was definitely his fault. Sauce Sauce. It's crazy. Sasuke definitely felt inferior to him. And if he had not personally asked to have Sasuke on his team, then maybe Sasuke wouldn't have had this inferiority complex with him. But Fugaku would say it's natural. Most Uchiha get that feel inferior to someone. You just so happen to be his rival. He's walking his path, so you need to walk your own. Now that Sasuke has left, I'll leave his retrieval in your hands. As his rival, you must bring him home. So, next time you meet, or whenever you, well, decide to make your move, just don't kill my son, or I will be after your head. Naruto would nod, saying that he won't kill Sasuke. And as the two of them would part ways, Fugaku would just smirk. That kid's eyes, I like them. They don't even have a single instance, as an instance, a single ounce of fear or anything. He isn't scared of the Uchiha clan anymore, like when he was a child. When all of these Uchiha who were behind me, because behind Fugaku was like 100 Uchiha who were glaring at him with their Sharingans, because they're kind of blaming Naruto for letting Sasuke go. So he'd say that Naruto does not fear them, and he was even confident that he could take down everyone behind him except for maybe Fugaku himself. And that means that he was pretty confident that he could take them down and get away before Itachi and Shisui could intervene. Naruto was not afraid. How can he be afraid when his best friend was an Uchiha, has been his rival since they were kids, and he has promised them to bring him back? He has faith in Naruto, just like he had faith in Minato. Now, after this, Naruto and Jiraiya would go out of the village for a training trip, and Sakura and damn, Sakura, Tsunade, and Haku, all three of them would also leave on their own training trip. But Sakura and Haku would both return to the village before Naruto and Jiraiya would. One second, I have to do something. I will be right back. All right, I'm back. Now, like I was saying, I don't know what I was saying, so I'm gonna redo it. So, like, Sakura, Haku, and Tsunade were gone out of the village for a year. They returned with Shizune. They left to go get Shizune. They trained more with Shizune because Haku and Shizune got along pretty well because their fighting styles kind of fit together pretty well. Sakura, on the other hand, was more the punching type like Tsunade, so they got along pretty well. Got a well. I just realized I was like, got along pretty well. And so as the four of them traveled, they grew stronger, obviously, and the two of them got better at their medical ninjutsu. This being Haku and Sakura. I mean, Shizune was also learning, but yeah. Anyways, so that's when Haku and Sakura would learn to put their chakra into their foreheads. Yeah, to get the don't even ask me what that shit called. I ain't even gonna lie to you. What was it? The hundred heal, the hundred. Yeah, I don't remember. I ain't gonna lie to you. But yeah, that's when they learn to put the chakra in their foreheads into that little diamond shape, whatever the fuck. Yeah, that. And when they returned to the village, they just stuck around, getting stronger and better at other things. Haku learned swordsmanship when she returned back to the village from Shisui. Shisui personally taught her swordsmanship, as he was also very proficient at using his chakra on his blade, aka his flame blade. And since she was learning her mist blade because of, obviously Zabuza, it kind of fit hand in hand for her to learn from Shisui. And 2 years after they returned, so 3 years in total, Naruto and Jiraiya returned. And when they return, Naruto is very proficient at using his Super Saiyan 3 transformation, but again, it does not last. That is fine though. That is perfectly fine. As Naruto can now use it for up to, I'm gonna say 3 minutes. 3 minutes, yeah. He can use it up to 3 minutes in bursts. So like throughout the day, he can use it for like 3 minutes. So repeatedly using it throughout the day, and the 3 minutes pause between, right? But it does have a drawback, as he has to rest for at least 5 hours before he can use it again, which is a huge drawback for such a short time period. But it doesn't usually take him that long in a fight anyway. So, yeah. Now, once he'd return, Jiraiya would recommend that he trained with Asuma's summon, which just so happened to be the Monkey King Enma that Hiruzen once had. He ended up training with Enma during his time back in the village, and before Team 7 even became an official thing, Naruto's training with Enma would start to it would start to bear fruit, because as this would happen, Naruto would grow a tail. He did not learn Monkey Sage mode, but he did grow a tail, like a monkey's tail. And Enma does not know why. Jiraiya doesn't either. And when they were trying to grab it to take it off of him, Naruto would fall over, unable to move. He would yell at them to let it go, as he physically could not move. And everyone would laugh at this new weakness that Naruto has. He would ask them to rip it off, but Enma would say that it seems to be some type of amp to his power, because his base power had just grown exponentially. And Idma, they're still in the Monkey King's world, would tell Naruto to look around and see what he sees differently. And again, everyone is in the Monkey King's world. They are not in the Leaf Village. And you can probably tell where this is going, because as Naruto looked around, his eyes would make contact with the moon, and he would just stare at this full moon. Enma would call out to Naruto, but his body would start contracting. He would start breathing hard, and his body would start to grow. His shirt would rip, his pants would rip, and his body would start to get bigger, huge. Jiraiya would start pulling out seals and would go to put one on Naruto. But as he'd get close, Naruto would be huge, staring down at Jiraiya, as he would slap him away and would yell out. He would not obviously be the Nine Tails, he would be in his Ozaru form. He would be yelling out, as he would start shooting beams from his mouth and he would try to stomp on them. Everyone would move and Tsunade would jump up and punch Naruto. This would enrage him because it actually hurt. She hits hard as hell. As he would yell at her as the wind pressure would start pushing her towards the ground and would even slam her through a tree. 1 second. My bad. Like I said, got, kids here. So, yeah. Anyways, he would yell at her as she would be sent flying and she'd go flying through a tree, like I just said. As Jiraiya would realize that Naruto's consciousness is not in whatever the hell that thing is. It's like he's dormant, he's asleep, and they have to do something about it for him to come back. They would look at the tail, and Enma would say it's probably for the best, but that's not the way he should go about this, as they would be confused. As he'd say that this seems to be some type of power up as well. It seems weaker than his Super Saiyan transformation, yes, but if he can master whatever this is, then he could go back to his base form and keep the tail and have an amp to go with it. So whatever amp he would have or gain by going into Super Saiyan 3, it would be basically, well, it would gain a 5 times stack onto that. So his original 50 would go up to 55. I said 5 times, I meant 5%. Whatever the fuck. Anyways, and Jiraiya would realize that he's not wrong. And so they try to like call out to Naruto, but everyone would be shocked as Haku would just step forward. She would say that she's got this, and she would say since she's been on his team and knows him for the longest, she, is obvious the likely answer to try to get through to him. And so she'd walk forward, and Naruto would would try to step on her. She would climb up to his face, jumping on his body, and would be holding onto his hair, looking into his eyes. She'd be yelling at him, and he would try to swing and hit her as she would jump away, and he'd punch himself in the face, falling flat on his ass. She would then land on his face, still yelling at him that he needs to wake up and that he can't save Sasuke like this. He can't protect her like this, and he can't protect the village like this. These words would start to like hit Naruto as his eyes would shine red and then teal as his fur would start to turn golden. As everyone would realize that this is like his Super Saiyan transformation and his power would skyrocket. It would continue to rise as Haku would be blown away. But before she could hit the ground, she would be caught by something that was very furry. But the fur was surprisingly soft. 1 second. All right, I'm back. Now, like I was saying, Haku would look up as she would see Naruto now in this Super Saiyan. This Super Saiyan 4. You might be wondering why when the other one is canon. Well, because when I originally made this story, I originally gave Naruto this Super Saiyan 4. And I low key don't like the design of the new one. Nah, but no. Let me rephrase that. I don't like how the new Super Saiyan 4 is different than this one. Okay? It's not that, oh, the new Super Saiyan 4 is bad or this Super Saiyan 4 is better. I just like this design better. To me, like, because I enjoyed GT. Oh, but GT was ass. To me, I personally enjoyed GT. That's why I went this route of doing it. Because if you don't remember how GT Super Saiyan 4 happened, Goku was tweaking on in Ozaru, Pan was killed or whatnot, and he ended up transforming into Super Saiyan 4. There's the Golden Ape, then this. And I like this better. So I went by that. Yeah, anyways. He would now be in Super Saiyan 4, and his power level was way higher than it was when he was in Super Saiyan 3. Not only is his tail amping him, but Super Saiyan 4 is amping him. So his power level went from just time 60 to time 65. But then it went beyond that because the tail, now that he had, well, okay, let me rephrase that. His tail, which originally amped only 5, now amps 10. So while he's in his normal 3 forms, which are Saiyan related, but not truly connected to his Ozaru Saiyan monkey roots or whatever, it's only a 5 times amps. But while in Super Saiyan 4, it amps him times 10. So it goes from the original 60, 65 to 70. This is a 70 times boost transformation. I was originally only going to make it 65, but fuck it. It's a 70 times amp boosted transformation. Hold on. All right, I'm back. I took I won't say an hour break, but like a 30-minute break. But I remember where I am. I just had to go use the bathroom, drink some water, let my voice rest for a bit, and I'm back. Now, continuing from where I was. Haku would look up and she would see Naruto holding her in his arms. He has this reddish aura around him as these red tendrils are in the air, but not like how basically these things, these aura spikes right here. Yeah. Basically he has those all around his body. And he has this warm and cozy aura around him. This goldenish aura that's around his body. He would be holding her and he would thank her for bringing him back to his senses and apologizes to everyone. As he'd say that he feels a lot calmer now. And they would look at him as his eyes and, well, hair and everything, besides it being longer, looks just like his base form. Well, besides the fur and shit. And the reason for them saying that is because his eyes are back to the golden-ish color, more so like his false Super Saiyan form, but still. As Naruto would just say, well, that's because this one is more closely related to my, well, actual powers and whatnot. So since it's more, well, the closest to the more primal side of this power, it's also one of the strongest. And everyone would accept his his explanation of it. He would call it his Super Saiyan 4. As they would ask how many more of these Saiyan transformations he has, and he'd say he feels like he knows, but he honestly couldn't tell them. And that's because I did take away the, like, he know, like, once he gains the power, the transformation and whatnot, he gains the abilities of that transformation and stuff like that. But he does not know the names or how many other forms he has before he gets them. One second, I forgot to do something. It won't take long. Obviously, for y'all, it's like a jump cut. All right, I'm back. I took like an hour break. I kind of remember where I was, so I'm gonna continue from where I think I was. So after the whole incident, and after him and Haku had their little one-to-one whatever session, everyone would leave the Monkey King's area after seeing Naruto's newest transformation. He transformed down, saying that he's going to start skipping Super Saiyan 3 since it's more of an inconvenience to use, as Super Saiyan 4 might as well just be his main transformation since it is his strongest, and going straight into it would cause him to not have to use too much energy since it is his strongest form, and using it is for the best. Again, Super Saiyan 3 is draining as he has to absorb natural energy, then transform into it. And at best, he only has 3 minutes in that form. Jiraiya would agree. And as he's powering down, he'd go through his stages. So from 3, I mean, he didn't have to, but just to flex. Then 2. as they'd see two's perfected form. And as you see in the picture, it's more golden than the original. If you don't remember, just go check. No, I did not highlight this. I just found the Super Saiyan 2 picture that was brighter than the other one. Now, after that, he'd go down to one, which he now skips the normal one and goes into Ascended, his version of Ascended Super Saiyan. And then back to his base form. As after he got done, he and the rest of his team and everyone would go and meet up with Kakashi and the others. Kakashi was not here, and well, nobody was technically here. So after meeting up with Kakashi, they'd have a bell test, and he would immediately say that they passed because Naruto was just too fast, even in his base form. I mean, he's not stronger than Kakashi in his base form, but since they weren't transforming or anything, you know, he was still too fast. For a base Kakashi who isn't using his Sharingan, Naruto is too fast for him. Now, this is when it was Haku's turn, and she would pull out her blade as immediately Mist would cover everything. And Kakashi would say, "Okay, okay, I get it. No, no need to go this far. You both pass. You pass. Calm down." And it's not because he's scared of them. He just wanted to see how much they've grown. So by them activating their chakra, he can just feel how much more potent and more how much more potent and condensed it is. So, feeling this change in them, he would say that he welcomes them as his equal, and they would be confused until Tsunade and Jiraiya both would come out. They would tell them that they both have become official ninja of the Hidden Leaf Village, and Kakashi would go on to say that from today onwards, they are no longer teacher and sensei and student. They are just teammates. Konoha Ninja. The two of them would get excited, and Kakashi would tell them to go enjoy their time before their first official mission. And they both would agree. They would go meet up with everyone, and everyone would just have a chill day. All of the Konoha 11 minus Sasuke would all chill and enjoy this time. That they had no missions, no nothing. Naruto would peep that Shikamaru and Tamari are very close. And he'd ask about them, and they wouldn't say they were dating, but they'd say that they have been closer since they both are smart, and from their respective villages, they are respected enough to be let to be together. Like they are around each other a lot because they both are so because they both are so smart, and they both help each other's villages bounce ideas off of each other very easily this way because both of them are very smart people from their respective villages. It helps keep in contact with each other's villages while bouncing ideas back and forth. I don't know why that was a mouthful, but one second. Now, as of after this moment, they would all be in the hot springs, and Naruto would just be chilling. He'd be chilling with the guys, Haku with the girls. And the girls would be asking Haku about how far her and Naruto have been getting because, well, they have been a lot closer and it's very obvious they like each other. Haku, on the other hand, would just say that neither of them have made it official since neither of them have been together that long. I mean, technically, this is their first time speaking after 3 years. Ever since the Sasuke incident, the last time they met, was today. So obviously it hasn't got progressed anywhere, but she has acknowledged her feelings for Naruto, and she doesn't even know if he notices her feelings for him, but all the girls would say that that's obvious that Naruto does, especially from the way he was carrying her back to the village 3 years ago. If you don't know what I'm talking about, after Naruto recovered enough to walk, he was holding Haku and everyone. Like, yeah, he was carrying Haku personally back to the village, as she still couldn't move because, again, she was electrocuted. But she was fine after Tsunade healed her. So was Naruto. Naruto left with Jiraiya, and after that, you know, current. So after this whole, fun time, they would be doing random missions together, but it wouldn't be anything, too dangerous, too, heavy, hard, none of that. It would just be easy missions. And everyone would be low key kind of bummed out that there is no hard mission until one day a hawk would enter into their village, as Kakashi would instantly recognize it as a Sand Village messenger hawk. He would get the message, go to Tsunade, and she'd send him out with a team. But, well, out, and she'd call in a few other people to go, as this was concerning the Akatsuki. And it would also say that, well, they were attacked by the Akatsuki, and Gara had gone out to fight them. They are requesting backup. Yes, I almost messed up the word. I mess it up while trying to correct myself. I was gonna say I messed up the word requesting. But yeah. Anyways, they were they were asking for help, and the Leaf Village would start getting the teams ready, and Jiraiya would ask Tsunade why are they sending Naruto, because the Akatsuki are after the tailed beast, and even though it's not sealed within him, technically he is the Nine Tails. If they take him and well, he is taken, this could be bad. But Tsunade would look at him as if he were dumb. As he go, I mean, I get it. The kid is strong. He's powerful. Even his newest form, we've seen how powerful Naruto can be. And he grows stupidly fast. But what happens if he does get caught? And, you know, she'd say that this is just a risk they're gonna have to take because they have to help the Sand Village. And Naruto would walk in saying that he also wants to help the Sand Village, mainly because him and Gara during the 3 years he was gone have met up. Like, all right, so during his second year, I'm gonna make sure to put this in a texting story. During Naruto's second year being gone, him and Jiraiya went to the Sand Village, and Naruto and Gara got along. They even trained together. This is another reason how Naruto was able to strengthen his Super Saiyan 3 transformation. Yeah, so it was thanks to Gara that Naruto's Super Saiyan 3 transformation got better because Gara had to train on his own to get better at using Shukaku. And so him helping Naruto was easier because he also has a transformation phase that is time related. Because, if he stays in the form too long, Shukaku could possibly take over, and that's bad. So, yeah. Now, Naruto would say that he's gonna help, and that's when Jiraiya would pull Naruto to the side and he'd warn him about the Akatsuki. If he can't handle the situation, run, because if he gets caught, that's bad for the rest of the world. And Naruto would say that's fine, he'll handle it. And plus, he still has instant transmission for if anything gets bad. Jiraiya would sigh, finally remembering about the technique, and would tell Naruto to just be safe. Naruto would nod and would say that he's gonna go save his friend. Jiraiya would say sure, and he originally was gonna go, but he just didn't because he couldn't go with them because of if they found out, obviously they would try to avoid getting coming out. So Jiraiya would watch, but not Naruto's team. He would go with okay. So Jiraiya team includes Itachi, Shisui, and let's see who else. I want it to be a third. So Jiraiya, Itachi, Shisui, and one more. I'm gonna say no because I want Sakura to still be involved with this. I was gonna put Sakura on their team, so they'll have a healer. But I'm gonna say Mikoto went. No, because I don't want to throw her in the fray. Anko could be a good candidate, but I don't know. Why not? Anko is with him. So it's Jiraiya, Itachi, Shisui, and Anko. The four of them would head out in a different direction, not heading to the sand village, but just around the borders of it, so they could try and find out where their base is if they decide to leave. And since all three of the people he chose have done reconnaissance before, it shouldn't be hard, and he wouldn't have to teach them anything. And even though it would have been better to have someone like Naruto who can fly and then just teleport if needed, Shisui can fit that bill just as well as Naruto could have. So having Naruto on the first field, on the front lines to fight, while having Shisui on the other side as a teleporter as well, is pretty good. Sorry about that. I forgot to pause before taking a sip of water. That's my bad. Anyways, so as Naruto and his teammates took off, Naruto decided to test out one of his new ninjutsu that he made. He calls it Nimbus. It's basically a cloud made of pure wind. Like, he literally calls it down from the clouds. And everyone would hop on this, everyone being his teammates. So Kakashi, Sakura. Yes, Sakura is a part of Team 7 for now. She joined Team 7 in replacement of Sai. I'm not adding him. I don't have anything against Sai, but I'm just not adding him. Okay. Now, so it's Naruto, almost said Sasuke. Naruto, Kakashi, Haku, and Sakura. The four of them would be on this cloud, and this cloud does not rely on the purity of heart. This is a ninja world. Come on, people are getting killed every day. Being pure of heart is not a restriction on this cloud. The only restriction to this cloud is that Naruto has to trust you. If he does not trust you, you cannot ride this cloud. So, as Naruto and his team flew off on this cloud, because again, it doesn't take energy to use, it's better than running. It would have taken too long to run, and they're just heading to this camp to go heal Konkoro. Yeah, almost forgot his name. So as they make it to this base, they see Lady Chio and Konkoro. Konkoro is on a bed, beaten the fuck up. I mean, it looks like they did him the worst way. And when Sakura and Haku both, healed him, took the poison out of him, the guy asked about his puppets and shit and whatnot, you know, skipping past all that. So after this, Naruto and, his four, because Lady Chio also came along. Almost at five because, I was going to count Naruto, but, you know, why would I count Naruto if I said Naruto and so, you know, anyways. So Naruto and his four people kept moving, and Kakashi opted for them to rest since, they'd probably need their strength if they ran into anyone. And Naruto was like, sure, he can put up a barrier or whatnot, or he can just stay awake and they can sleep, and then somebody can switch out and he'll sleep. And Kakashi was like that. Since the area that they are in, it shouldn't be needed for them to rest, especially considering they haven't met anybody to fight since they've been moving. And Naruto said that's exactly why somebody should stay awake. But, he would say it's fine though. He's not really worried since if anybody gets within a certain radius of him, he'll automatically wake up anyway, so might as well. Naruto would lay back on his cloud as Haku would join him because, they like each other. And everybody else would just sleep in their tents. As the two of them laid on this cloud, they talked, and eventually the topic of dating came up. And as the two of them were talking about their relationship and whether or not to go further, Naruto just casually said, "So, while we're on this topic, will you be my girlfriend?" Like, just like, okay, so normally Naruto is a very non forward person. Well, besides OG Naruto, who is an idiot and always asking out Sakura. But this Naruto is not this forward. Like he's normally sure he's calm normally, but he's never this forward. And so it kind of shocked Haku. She would look at Naruto and he'd ask her again, "Will you be my girlfriend?" And she would immediately agree. She would hug Naruto, and the two of them would have this sweet moment. The two of them would just stare up at the clouds and stars. They would be talking about their future and what they want to be after all of this. Naruto would say he doesn't plan on having any big goals. He's not one of those people who has a goal like, oh, I want to be the Hokage or anything like that. The only thing he has that he wants to do is to get stronger. He constantly wants to get stronger so he can protect those that he loves. And currently, he's fighting to protect his village. I mean, he grew up there, even though, the people there didn't like him at first. That doesn't matter. He's fought for the village since he was a kid, and he'll fight for it now that he's grown up. He may not be an adult, but, you know, it doesn't matter. Haku would say that she just wants to protect Naruto and whatever Naruto thinks is precious. So if he thinks the village is precious, then so will she. The two of them would kind of laugh and they would just joke around throughout the night, eventually falling asleep. And Kakashi would wake them up the next day, even though Sakura didn't want him to. And they would keep moving. Eventually, they'd go through the bullcrap, and they didn't have to fight anybody since Itachi is not in the Akatsuki. They had nobody to send on their group, and sure, I could put somebody else against them. Like I could put, let's see, Obito, but well, Toby. They don't know it's Obito currently, so I could put somebody like Toby or Datara, maybe even Sasori or somebody like that. But no, there was nobody like that along their path. They made it to the rock barrier before everybody else. And when everybody else arrived, they'd ask them about the people they fought, and they were like, they weren't Akatsuki. They were just Sand Ninja. But Kakashi and the rest, well, their team, Team 7, would say that they ain't run into anybody. It was as if nobody knew they were coming. And Naruto would say that they probably didn't assume that we would make it to our area that quickly. So they probably didn't have time to set up anybody for us to face. Or they just didn't have anyone that could face all of us at the same time. So, yeah, that's a thing. So after this whole situation, you know, I'm gonna say Glee. Mike Guy would go and he'd punch the rock, as he would say the barrier is pretty strong. But Naruto would hold out his hand. He'd say, "Watch out, I got this." He would start charging up a ki blast as he would go into Super Saiyan. And as he's in Super Saiyan, he'd hold out his hand and he'd shoot a beam at the rock. And as soon as it started coming out, everyone who's seen Naruto use this beam before knew exactly how powerful it was, but he didn't. He made it into an orb and just shot it at it. It was just a simple ki blast. Everybody was wondering why until his Super Saiyan transformation faded, as the aura from the Super Saiyan transformation was around the orb, and as soon as it touched the rock barrier, it blew up, causing a huge explosion, blowing the rock to smithereens. Mike Guy and his team and everybody else split up like in canon, and that's when Naruto and the other two, Lady Chio and Sakura jumped in on the right side. Naruto and Kakashi with Haku jumped in on the left side. Now, Haku and Kakashi both knew Naruto didn't need backup if push came to shove, but as soon as Naruto saw how disrespectfully Deidara was sitting on Gaara's body, he snapped his eyes turned red as went back into Super Saiyan. As he'd hold his hand out, as everybody yelled at him not to shoot that beam in here, as that could be dangerous. But they realized Naruto was too pissed off to realize. But then again, he didn't charge it up. What's going on? But they'd see Datara go into the air as Naruto would crush his hand, as Datara would be crushed, as Sasori would be confused. He'd look over and then he'd chuckle. Well, there goes that idiot. And then Naruto would open his hand as white liquid would fall out. It would not be blood. A clone. He got lucky. They'd hear something in the air as they'd see Datara on this bird thing. And he'd be yelling at them to chase him. And Naruto would immediately fly after him. Like, literally fly out of the cave after him. Kakashi and the others would stand there looking at Sasori. One second. As Lady Chiyo told them to go after Naruto because they may need somebody to stop him if he goes overboard. Now, one second. All right, I'm back. Now, like I was saying, Sasuke. Haku was the first one to run after Sasuke after Naruto, as she would yell at Naruto to stop running. She would get on the cloud and would infuse her own chakra into it because she can use mist release. Just because she is able to conclude that was fucking disgusting. Because she is able to use mist release, she is able to control the Nimbus. And Kakashi would hop on it, and the two of them would fly after the other two. And as Naruto is chasing down Sasori, he is getting faster as he is transforming from Super Saiyan 2 all the way up to 4, skipping 3, obviously. As no, he'd stay in 2 as he is on Sasori. I just realized I said Sasori. Speaking of Sasori, he was getting at work. Yeah. Like in canon, Sakura and Chiyo handled that. But yeah. Naruto would eventually catch up to Datara, who would jump off the bird as Naruto punched clean through it, as it is sent flying and then explodes. As Naruto flies after the falling Datara, he would make shadow clones, and these shadow clones would hit Datara one after another. One would punch him in the gut, sending him flying down as he would bounce off the floor, as another clone would slam his head into the ground. And the third would drop a knee into his gut. As he would cough out blood, the fourth one would come down and land an elbow clean in his throat. As he would start, coughing, trying to catch his breath. He can't breathe. As the final Naruto came down on him with a Rasengan, a huge one, as he slammed that bitch on him. Slam dunked that hoe. I mean, beautifully dropped that bitch on him. And as soon as it hit him, it caused this huge explosion area. As Naruto just stood there, looking at the carnage that he had caused, but Datara was not dead. That was a clone, and Datara was nowhere to be found. Naruto would be looking around, trying to find him, trying to kill him. He wanted him dead. Hold on, 1 second. Hold on. My fault. All right, I'm back. I was sitting here for like an hour again. I was planning. I was getting my thoughts arranged to plan out the next part to this. So I'm ready to continue now. And anyways, like I was saying. So after giving him this Batman ass treatment, Naruto would stand over Datara's now squashed body, seeing that it was the white substance again. And as he'd start looking around, Kakashi would place a seal on Naruto's forehead, a seal personally made by Jiraiya, as he said that Naruto is very volatile with his emotions. Whenever Naruto gets angry, his transformations start to enhance themselves subconsciously with the Nine Tails chakra because the Nine Tails chakra is in his chakra. So once he transforms, he's using his own chakra. He can add the Nine Tails chakra perfectly without the Nine Tails influencing it because the Nine Tails seems to be sealed. Yes, sealed. I know in the first one I said the Nine Tails' soul was destroyed. I forgot to correct myself in the second part. So y'all are getting this correction in the third part. And in the first episode of the texting story, you'll see that it'll say Karama's soul is sealed, not destroyed, but sealed. Now continuing. Even though the Nine Tails' soul is sealed away, unable to interfere with Naruto's soul or body, sometimes its chakra manifests a soul of its own, amplifying Naruto's rage, causing him to start losing control. And if he fully loses control, the Nine Tails' soul can try and fight to take over Naruto's body. One second. All right, sorry about that. I'm back. Now, like I was saying, after the Yeah. I was trying to remember where I was while talking and I fucking froze. Um, where was I? Uh, hmm, where was I? Yes, I forgot that quickly, bro. I've only been gone for like a minute. I can remember stuff from like an hour ago, but now a minute later, I can't remember shit. Oh, right. So yeah, like I was saying, Kakashi would have this seal on Naruto's forehead as his transformations would fall, as he would now be back in base form. His energy had been absorbed into the seal and then sent into Kakashi, giving Kakashi extra strength. As he would remember that since Naruto has a huge amount of chakra, the seal cannot suppress his chakra, but it can forcefully take all the chakra he is expending at that moment to make him tired enough to where he can't keep up that transformation, forcing him back to base form, making him unable to continue making him unable to continue combat. Sorry about that. One sec. All right, I'm back. All right, now I'm back. Like I was saying, Naruto would now be tired on the floor saying, "Thanks for that." I kind of lost my head there. Sorry. One second. All right, I'm back. Now, like I was saying, he would thank Kakashi for stopping his little rampage, as Kakashi would be enjoying this feeling of all this power he has. As Datara would run into, well, Team Guy, like in canon, he would try to get away and hit him with the art is an explosion bullshit and blow himself up. Now, this would cause a huge explosion, but not only a huge explosion, this one would be bigger than canon as he had rigged the whole forest, well, from the area that they were at coming towards where Naruto and Kakashi Num was at. As all of this energy would start flying towards them, Kakashi, Sakura, all of them would be there because, Chio and Sakura had already finished their fight with, Sasori. They were already heading this way. So when they arrived, they obviously saw the Sasuke, tired Naruto and Kakashi standing there full of energy, seeing almost yes, Haku. They'd see her hugging up against Naruto, who is, using her as a balance weight. Well, using her to balance himself as he's trying to regain his strength that he has lost. Again, feeling kind of weak. His shadow clones would still be holding the dead body of Gara on the Nimbus, and that's when Team Guy would come running, yelling at them to get away. As Naruto would tell everyone to grab onto him and he'll just teleport them away. He would put his hands up to his forehead, but would realize Team Guy isn't gonna make it. As this huge explosion is about to engulf them, Kakashi would lift his headband and activate his Mangekyo Sharingan. And he would activate Kamui, absorbing that giant ass fireball. But in exchange, all of that energy he had absorbed, and including, well, his own energy, was drained. And this man was out of commission, like in canon. So everyone would head to this clearing where Chio, sacrificed her life for Gaara's. Gaara and Naruto shook hands, you know, all of that. Everything would happen the same way, and they would head back to their village. Now, after this, the Leaf Elders and Tsunade would be having a meeting. Jiraiya is also there, and they are arguing that they cannot keep Naruto safe, and they might as well just seal Naruto away or just kill him and then seal the Nine Tails in something else, like some other vessel besides Naruto, because, well, he, sure, he's strong, but he is not strong enough to handle the Akatsuki in that are coming after him. And what if they just take Naruto and kill him somewhere else and then take the Nine Tails regardless? You know, Jiraiya would tell them that that's impossible because, again, the Nine Tails is Naruto. Killing Naruto would just cause the Nine Tails to reincarnate outside of his body from his chakra, and then they'd have a super powered, well, Nine Tails, because of currently Naruto's max power is times 70. I'm pretty sure I said 70. Yeah, I know for a fact I said times 70. Multiplies his power by 70 times. They would have to face a Nine Tails that is 70 times stronger than before. They are not surviving. So either way, it's a win for them. Plus, Naruto is not dying that easily. And the elders would be arguing up and down that they cannot protect Naruto and that he is a danger to the village, but that'd be shut down immediately again. And Donzo would say that he can just, since Kakashi is out of order, he can give them, well, he can, give them a new person to join their team since Sakura is not a full time member of Team 7. As a matter of fact, Sakura is only in Team 7 for a little bit. And so a full time replacement to be Sai. And that's when Tsunade would shut it down, saying that she can just make Sakura their full time member, as Sakura doesn't have a team. She's just always in the village, and having her on the team so she can get used to combat would be better than adding a random guy that doesn't even know how to work with their team yet. He would say that the team can just be a 4-man team under a sensei or whatever. It doesn't really matter the size of the team as long as they have someone, well, they have someone under his branch to make sure that Naruto is safe. He kept saying the word safe, and the elders, for some reason, took his word over, their Hokages. And so Sai is added to Team Naruto or Team 7. It's not a permanent fix, but this is only until, well, in his words, the Akatsuki threat is dealt with. And so we go to 10 days later because obviously Sakura told Tsunade told Team 7 to handle it and inform her of what happens after. They go to the bridge. Obviously, they had that meeting last night. Yamato is pretending to be Sasori, and then everything goes to shit when Kabuto strikes him thinking he was still Sasori. And when he was like, yo, is that his real body? To Orochimaru, who did show up, he was like, no. That's when Team 7 jumped out and Naruto stepped up calmly. Naruto walked up into the fray, asking a single question in a low, calm voice. Where is Sasuke? Yamato immediately knew everything is finna hit the fan. Naruto is gonna lose his shit. Sakura and Haku both would be trying to tell Naruto to calm down, but Naruto would say, I am calm. I'm just asking him a question. Where's Sasuke? I want to talk to him. Sasuke. Ah, you mean the Uchiha? My Uchiha. No, I don't think I will let you see him. Your Uchiha. Yours. Okay. Haku. Sakura. Yamato. Sai. Get back. Now. Haku would grab Sakura and would jump away, as Yamato would also jump away. They know Naruto is dead serious. He would ask him once more, as Yamato would tell Sai to move, but Sai would stand there. Again, he, in his words, doesn't have the capacity to feel fear, being emotionless and all. So Naruto's calm confidence didn't scare him or whatever. He wanted to see it up close and personal, what Naruto's transformations actually look like. And that's when Naruto's energy started rising. I asked you nicely. Let me see Sasuke. This isn't an ask, a want, or a let me see anymore. This is just you saying yes. If you say no one more time, no, I said you aren't seeing my. And as soon as he said that, 1 second, I gotta do something. But I'll be. Give me a second. My fault. I had to go do something. Now, like I was saying, as Orochimaru would say no, Naruto's energy would flare. He'd go Super Saiyan. And then Super Saiyan 2. Something Orochimaru has not seen yet. Because, no. Did Orochimaru? No, he did not. He did not see Super Saiyan 2. Because Naruto appeared, used Super Saiyan 1 against him. And then when he fought, who did he fight when he unlocked Super Saiyan 2? Again, it's been a while, so, sorry. Let's see. It was not Gara. It was Sasuke. Sasuke. Because he unlocked Super Saiyan 2 fighting bandits. Got it. Okay, so yeah. He did not see Super Saiyan 2 before. And as Naruto's hair would grow, his shock would just be tremendous. What is that one? How is he doing that? It's so fascinating. Maybe I should take this one as well. This body would be perfect. It's stronger than Sasuke. Nah, not really. I don't. But before he could think any further, Naruto's hair would stop being golden, as it would just skip that. It would shrink as he'd skip clean over 3 and go into 4, as he'd yell out, I said, where is Sasuke? As he'd appear next to Orochimaru, who had no time, and I do mean no time, to prepare for this mean ass right that sent him flying off the bridge. As Orochimaru is sent flying off of the bridge, he is slammed through multiple trees. And as Kabuto tried to interfere, Naruto would just look at him and then keep walking. As Kabuto was in the air, the wind pressure of him just turning his head, glaring at him, sent him flying. As I almost forgot his name and I just said it. As Kabuto would be impressed just from, he did that just with his pure chakra. He looked at me and his pure chakra pushed me away. This kid is so fascinating. No wonder Master wanted him. We should have took him over Sasuke, really. Maybe, if one of us can take his body now. Maybe. He would rush Naruto from behind, but Naruto would say, get the hell away from me. As Kabuto went to use his medical ninjutsu on Naruto, Naruto's fist would appear in his face as he'd go flying off the bridge. Not off, like, towards where Sakura and them is, but he'd go flying off the side of it, sent into the air high as shit, as Naruto would instant transmission above him. And he'd slam a fist dead in his chest, sending him flying down into the water, as Naruto would teleport to Orochimaru. And this whole time, Sai was just sweating, like in fear. And he shouldn't feel fear. That glare Naruto did on Kabuto, since he was close to Naruto, he also felt it. This pressure was terrifying. Nobody he had ever met could just put off aura like that. Nobody. Yet Naruto, who now seems to be an animal, a primal animal, thinking nothing but with rage, is terrifying him. And that's where I'm gonna leave this part off. I hope you enjoyed. And I'm gonna start typing out these three parts now. Once I'm done typing out these three parts, I'm gonna go and make the next few parts. Now, you might be saying, why is this series shorter than all of my other series? Is because technically this series is basically done. I've done OG Naruto in 2 episodes, Shippuden in one. Well, not all of Shippuden, but you know, more of the important parts of Shippuden in 1 episode. Well, not all of them, but the beginning part. Like what? What is this? 100? Say 100. What is this, like 30 some episodes into Shippuden already? 30 some, 40 some shit like that. I don't know. I'm gonna go check it out and see. But yeah, after this, I'm gonna go. Like after I'm done typing out these three parts, I'm gonna go watch Shippuden again. I've been watching OG Naruto and Shippuden to. So yeah, that's kind of the reason for me making this series. Anyways, I wanted an excuse to rewatch Naruto. This is my excuse. So yeah, goodbye.